The U.S. is beginning military exercises in Estonia, and I'm wondering, why is it that when Russia is carrying out exercises, it's suspicious, it undermines peace. When the U.S. does that, it's exclusively for peace and never undermines anything.
I'm not sure. I'm sure what you're referring to. You suggested, or you had an allegation about Russian exercises. What is it you're
Well, we
suggesting?
hear that all the time, and from the most recent one, Jen Psaki saying Russian exercises in Crimea would undermine a diplomatic, peaceful resolution of the crisis. Well, we
Well,
heard a similar
you seem to
reaction.
forget, though, that Crimea is part of Ukraine.
We heard a similar reaction
Estonia is an
over.
independent country.
We heard a similar reaction over Russian exercises in other parts of Russia, close to Western borders. There's always suspicion and
I'm
accusations
sorry. I
of
think
undermining stability.
you're distorting what's been said from this podium by my colleagues and by the U.S. government. We have consistently said that we recognize the need for routine military training activity, and we say that it should be consistent with international law, and it should be conducted with due regard for the rights of other nations and the safety of aircraft and vessels. That's been our position consistently. And
But
so
also from
I'd
this
urge you to go back
podium,
and
we
review the
hear
record
criticism
before
and suspicion.
twisting what it is we've said.
That is not. We always hear a suspicion and criticism of Russian exercises somehow undermining, stability in the region. And when the U.S. is carrying out exercises thousands of miles away from home, near Russian borders, and that's fine. Russia does that at home, and that's not fine. Do you see an inconsistency
Again,
in
I
that
think I've addressed your
position?
question. You are twisting how we've described Russian exercise activity, and I think our activity on the territory of NATO member states has a degree of transparency that is hard to criticize. Yes,
Do
go
you
ahead.
see?
You had a question.
Are
No,
you
I'm sorry.
saying
We're
that
going
the
to move on.
U.S.
Well, Jeff,
Yeah.
Are you saying that the
the,
U.S.
the problem, I understand what you're saying, but the problem is that you were critical of Russian exercises that were in the general vicinity of the Ukrainian border inside Russia. You said it contributed to unease and instability during the crisis in Ukraine. This was Russian exercises inside Russia, somewhat close to, although I think the Russians would argue it wasn't that close, to the eastern Ukrainian border.
Well, that's been in reference to a specific conflict zone. I think the question was much broader and suggesting that we were, criticizing or denying the ability of Russia to conduct any military exercises anywhere, which is not what we've said.
Did you or did you not ask the Vietnamese to stop refueling Russian planes at Cam Ranh Bay?
Well, I think again,
because you said that those kinds of flights raised tensions in the South China Sea.
Well, I think if we go back to the discussion of that a couple of weeks ago, the point. Okay, but the point was not the fact of refueling, but we simply expressed our view about activity that could raise tensions.
Okay, right. So you don't hold on. So you don't think that NATO or U.S. exercises in Estonia along the Russian border raise tensions at all? Is that right?
Well, I would say, again, our fundamental point is that any military exercises should be done with respect for international law, should be done with the appropriate degree of transparency, and so that's
okay. But you would disagree with the idea that I think the question you're being posed is that you would disagree with the idea that U.S. or NATO exercises in a country that is in a NATO member that's along the Russian border raises tensions given the current situation with Ukraine and the current rift between the West and Russia on this. You would disagree.
Again, I think if you look at the scope and the nature of
I'm just asking, yes or no, you disagree?
We would disagree with that.
You would disagree.
Yeah.
I want to go back to my question. Maybe you have not, but your colleagues from this podium have criticized Russia for carrying out exercises near its western borders because they raise tensions. Why is it that U.S. exercises do not raise tensions?
Well, again, I would ask you to go back and check the transcripts of what we've said. We have not issued such blanket statements, and so I think I've addressed your question.
Never
Go ahead,
criticized Russian exercises near.
Excuse me?
Can I ask a question on Israel?
One,
Yeah.
this is very brief on the email.
Sure.
Just